Hi guys, this is a quick video on how to do refutation and just to expound on that. I'll probably do refutation first and then amplification later so that you don't have to look at me writing. But the bare bones of refutation are these items. You need your thesis, your counter thesis, your proof for your counter thesis, 3 subproofs for your counter thesis, and then why they are not persuasive. And you will do this 2 times, right? Because you're going to need two proofs for your counter thesis. So it'll look something like this. So for my thesis is, what is my thesis? The soldiers should not have abandoned Beowulf, right? So then my counter thesis would be, the soldiers should have abandoned Beowulf, right? What is my proof for my counter thesis? And this is where the affirmative negative comes into play. That's why you make sure you have affirmative and negative, because if you only have one, then you have nothing for your refutation, right? So my counter thesis is that the soldiers should have abandoned Beowulf. My proof for my counter thesis, or I think my strongest one, was the fact that the dragon was terrifying. So dragon terrifying is my proof for my counter thesis. Then underneath the dragon is terrifying, I would have 3 subproofs under the dragon is terrifying. Because the dragon is terrifying, 1, they could die. That's a pretty compelling one. Number 2, they weren't as strong as Beowulf. And my 3rd subproof was they'd never fought a dragon before. Okay? So again, my proof for my counter thesis is that the dragon was terrifying, they could die, they're not as strong as Beowulf, and they've never fought a dragon before. And then at the last part, you have to say why it is not persuasive. So I put the reason why that is not persuasive is because they were soldiers and they were warriors and they should be courageous and ready to defend. So the excuse was really just an excuse. Okay? So that would be my counter, my thing of it not being persuasive. And granted, you're still in the outline, right? But these are the elements that would go in. So I think if you were putting it, say for example, in your outline, you should be fine. It doesn't have to be full sentences as long as you have the gist. All right, so let's do that one more time since you have to do this twice, okay? So now let's go back again. My thesis is, you don't have to restate this, but my thesis is that they should not have left. My counter thesis is that they should have. I'm going to give you a different proof for my counter. My different proof for my counter thesis, or my second proof, is that Beowulf usually did the fighting by himself, right? And then my subproofs for that would be to support my counter proof, which is that Beowulf won all the battles that he had previously. He'd never lost. That's why he was still alive. And then the second one was that Beowulf was already strong and a seasoned warrior. He should be fine by himself. And then last but not least, Beowulf wasn't scared. Everybody else was scared. But Beowulf was really, he was very courageous about what he did. And he didn't seem to have a problem with them not being there. And then we go down to why that is not persuasive. And my reason and why that is not persuasive is that friends help when they're needed, whether the person seems capable of handling the situation or not. So that would be my refutation, okay? So again, when you're looking at refutation, you just need these main things in there. Your thesis, your counter thesis, your one big proof for your counter thesis, and then 3 subproofs supporting your main proof, okay? And then after all that, you tell them why that's not persuasive, right? You're refuting the opposite side. And then again, you do it 2 times. This part you do 2 times. You don't have to reiterate your thesis and counter thesis twice. All right? Hope that helps. Please feel free to email me. And if you have any questions, or text if it's more immediate. And I have, what was I going to say? Oh, I have the amplification video that I will send here in just a bit. Okay? Thanks.